All right, so each page is a different section on the review. So it starts with 6.5. This was on the quiz. So I would definitely review your quiz, which I'm going to hand back today. See how you did on the quiz, and that'll kind of tell you how much you need to review for 6.5 and 6.6. Each page has a question that's an example, so you can look at that, see how they did it, and then hopefully that'll help you with the rest. Same with 6.6. The next one has an example here too. That's already done for you. You guys got to do the rest of them. 7.1 is our inverse variation. So our inverse variation formula is y is equal to, anybody remember? A over x. Awesome. And then our other one is direct variation. So y is equal to what? A times x. Perfect. So again, this one has a question that's done for us. Don't forget about the word problem on this page too. All right, so going back to 7.1, let's take a look at 3. To show whether it's direct, inverse, or neither, whatever type of variation we have, we want to make it y equals and then see which formula matches. So if it matches our direct one or our inverse one. So how would I make this y equals? I can multiply y on both sides. So 15y is equal to x. What would I do next? Divide by 15. So y is equal to x over 15. Now be careful here. What do we think that it is? It's direct because the x is on top. It's only when x is on the bottom, it's inverse. Because this is technically y is equal to 1 over 15 times x. So our constant, our a, just so happens to be a fraction. It's 1 over 15. So this would be direct. This is a good one. So if we had something like y is equal to 5 over x, like this, what would this be? Inverse. So when you're dividing by x, it's inverse variation. Neither would be something like 4. How would I get y all by itself here? Add 3 on both sides. So y is equal to 2x plus 3. What do you think? Neither, because it has the plus 3. So anything that like you're adding to it, like if you just had x minus 2 or something like that, that would be neither. All right, what'd you do first? Divide by 5. So y is equal to 6x over 5. What do we think? X on top, direct. Because this is like saying y is equal to 6 over 5 times x. X is being multiplied. So if x is on top, it's direct. If you're dividing by x, it's inverse. So remember, when it's the table, it's kind of the opposite of what we think. We have to test x times y. I'll make a little table for us. So x times y would mean that it's what? Inverse. So if we multiply x times y and get a constant, it's inverse. If it is y over x, that would be direct. It has to be y over x. Y has to be on top. So we get those two by just taking our formulas and solving for a. So here, if I were to get a all by itself, I divide x on both sides. So a is equal to y over x. That's why y over x means that it's direct. Let's do 9. So the variables x and y vary inversely. Use the given values to write an equation relating x and y. Then find y when x is -3. So if they vary inversely, which formula are we using? Y equals a over x. So I'm going to plug in 18 into y. and 5 over 2 into x. So 18 is equal to 5 over a over 5 over 2. So I just plugged it into the formula here. All right, now how do I solve for a? Perfect. We're going to multiply both sides times 5 over 2. So 5 times 18, or we could divide 18 by 2. That would be 9. 9 times 5? 45. So 45 is equal to a. And then we got to plug it back in. So y is equal to 45 over x. So this is our equation because it says write an equation. That's question number 1. But it also asks us what? To solve when x is equal to -3. So I'm going to plug that into x. So y is equal to 45 divided by -3. So what does y equal? -15. Perfect. And then 7(3). So it has a question that's done for us that's a dividing one. And then we're going to do a couple from this page just to practice. So let's do 15. So when multiplying, what's the first step? What should I do first here? That's when dividing, we want to keep change flip. But when multiplying, I want to factor each one. So we treat each part of this as different parts. We want to factor the top, then the bottom, then the top, then the bottom. So it's like 4 different factoring questions in one. The top here is already factored for us, so it's just x minus 3 on top. How could I factor the bottom? We do what? So what did you do? We took out the GCF. So our GCF was 2, so we just divided it out and put it in front. What would we do for the top here? Take out a 6. What are we left with when we divide out a 6? X squared minus 16. Can I factor x squared minus 16? How? It's the difference of squares. Awesome. So x plus 4 and x minus 4. So this factors into 6 times x plus 4 times x minus 4. Now let's look at the bottom. X squared minus 9. How do we factor this? Awesome. X plus 3, x minus 3. Again, it's a difference of squares. So it factors into a plus and a minus. What would I do next? Cancel out whatever is the same on the top and on the bottom. So x minus 3's, we can cancel. Anything else? X minus 4. Anything else? I can simplify that 6 and 2. What's 6 divided by 2? 3. Where would the 3 go? On top. Or you can put out. Either way. So the 3 goes on top. We're left with 3 times x plus 4 on top. And what on the bottom? X plus 3. You could distribute the 3 if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just leave it all as factors separated. What else do I have to do? Awesome. I have to set everything that I canceled out not equal to 0. So x minus 3 does not equal 0. Add 3 to both sides to solve. So x does not equal 3. What else? So we have to set x minus 4 not equal to 0. So x does not equal 4. So in our answer, we just have to include that x does not equal 3 and 4. So 2 parts to our answer. You got the simplified part, and whatever you crossed out, you got to set that not equal to 0. Let's take a look at number 4. So we're just simplifying here, so let's factor the top and the bottom. What are two factors of negative 20 that add to negative 1? Negative 5 and 4. So this factors into x minus 5 and x plus 4. Now let's factor the bottom. What's special about the bottom? It's the sum of cubes. So the sum of cubes, we got to remember our formula. It's a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. So if a to the third power is x to the third power, what is just a? So a is equal to x. So I'm going to plug x into all of the a's. So I have x plus, I'm going to leave a space there, times x squared minus something times x plus b squared. Let's do the same thing. If b to the third power is 64, what is just b? 4. So I'm going to plug in 4 into all of the b's. 4, and what's 4 squared? 16. So this factors into x plus 4 times x squared minus 4x plus 16. Now, as much as we want to factor this more, using our difference of cubes formula, this doesn't factor anymore. This is as factored as we can go. So now, once we factored it as much as we can, what do we do next? Cancel out anything that's the same. So we got the x plus 4s. Anything else? Nope. So x minus 5 on top over x squared minus 4x plus 16. Awesome. Last step is we got to set x plus 4 not equal to 0. So what does x not equal? Negative 4. Perfect. We just subtract 4 on both sides. So x does not equal negative 4. Look at 14. What's the first thing when we see dividing? What do we have to do? Keep, change, flip. So we keep the first one, change to multiplication, and flip the second. What am I flipping on the second one? It's just perfect. We put it over 1, but then we're going to flip it. So this would be x squared minus 10x plus 21 over x plus 2 times 1 over x squared minus 14x plus 49. Everybody see what we did there? Just keep, change, flip. So anytime you have something that is not a fraction already, put it over 1, and if you have to flip it, it would become 1 over. What would I have to do next? Factor it. Do we have two factors of 21 that add to negative 10? Negative 3 and negative 7. So this would be x minus 3 and x minus 7 over x minus 2, or x plus 2 is already as factored as we can go, so just x plus 2 times 1 over. Do we have two factors of 49 that add to negative 14? Negative 7 and negative 7. So x minus 7 and x minus 7. Does anything cancel? X minus 7. Could I cancel out both x minus 7s? No, only one. You can only have a pair that cancel out. Since I only have 1 on the top, I can only cancel it out with 1 on the bottom. Now we just multiply straight across. So everything on top stays on top. Everything on the bottom, we multiply together. You don't have to FOIL it. You can just leave it. I would suggest not FOILing it, just to save yourself some time. So x minus 3 over x plus 2 times x minus 7. What else do I need to do? Perfect. X minus 7 does not equal 0. So what does x not equal? 7. We would just add 7 to both sides. So x does not equal 7. So going back to 14 up here, we could do this a couple different ways. Simplify first or combine them together first. It kind of doesn't matter which way. Do you want to combine them together and multiply? So let's multiply straight across. So we're kind of just going to combine our like terms. So I have 80. If I have x to the 4th power times x, how many x's do I have on top now? Times x. On top, we're multiplying. So x to the 4th power, so x to the 5th. Is that what you said? Oh, sorry. And then just a y. On the bottom, I don't have any like terms, so it'd be 5x squared y to the 3rd power. So now let's simplify our like terms. What's 80 divided by 5? 16. Does the 16 go on top or on the bottom? On top, because the bigger number is on top. Because it's just 80 divided by 5, that 16 stays on top. Next, I have x to the 5th power divided by x squared. If you want to write it out, I have 5 x's on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2 on the bottom. So I can cancel out the like ones. How many am I left with? 3 where? On top. So x to the 3rd power on top. And then same thing with the y's. I have 1 y on top and 3 on the bottom. I can cancel out just 1. So how many am I left with? 2 on the bottom. So our answer would be 16 x cubed divided by y squared. Now, what else do I have to include in my answer? X can't equal 0, and what else? Y can't equal 0, because we crossed out an x and a y. So we just got to say that in our answer too. Whatever you cross out, same thing here, you just set it not equal to 0. Let's look at 11. What should I do first for 11? Do I keep change flip when it's multiplication? No. We're just going to put the second part over 1. That way we know that what's on top is on top and just 1 on the bottom. What do I do next? Factor it. Do we have 2 factors of negative 28 that add to 3? 7 and negative 4. Perfect. So this would factor into x plus 7 and x minus 4. Let's factor the bottom now. How do I factor the bottom? How do I factor the bottom? X plus 5, x minus 5. Difference of squares. Make sure you know how to factor your difference of squares. And then let's look at the top right. What are 2 factors of 15 that add to negative 8?
Negative 5 and negative 3.
Negative 5 and negative 3. Perfect. So x minus 5 and x minus 3. What do I do next? Cross out the x minus 5s. Anything else? Nope, that's it. So this would simplify to x plus 7 times, bless you, times x minus 4 times x minus 3 on top. And what am I left with on the bottom? X plus 5. What else do I need to include in my answer? X minus 5 does not equal 0, so x does not equal 5.